Hi, this is your host Swapnil Bharti, and we are here at Red Hat Summit in Boston. And today we have with us two guests from Robin.io. We have with us Partha Chitala, your CTO and co-founder, and we have Radesh Menon, your CMO. So first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So today we are going to discuss about the stateful applications, right? So we talked earlier also what are stateful applications, but what are the challenges, when it comes to onboarding stateful applications, the problem that, when you interact with customers, and you are here at Red Hat Summit, and here you have a lot of customers. So what challenges, problems they face?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having us here, Swapnil. So you asked a question about what are the challenges of stateful application, and you also said, what are we doing here at Red Hat Summit? So I'll try to capture both of these things, right? So if you look at Kubernetes, it was originally started as a platform for stateless workloads, which is mostly compute focused. But more and more users are basically saying that because stateless applications depend on state that resides in stateful applications, they also want to bring that onto the Kubernetes fold. Now the challenges are the following, right? Unlike stateless applications, obviously stateful application requires a strong persistence layer, right? Of course, that's a storage substrate. But storage substrate itself, which of course has to be high performant, it has to have the resiliency and all that, is not adequate because stateful applications have what they call as day two operational challenges, because you need to protect them, you need to ensure that they're highly available, you need to ensure that they are secure. And another common workflow that people see with stateful application is collaboration, because you would want to do things like test dev clone so that you could run your ad hoc reports there, you can do upgrade validation on those reports. And more, you're also seeing that people do want to also migrate these workloads from one cluster to the other, or from hybrid, from on-premises to a public cloud environment and things like that, right? Those are challenges that are typically not being solved at the Kubernetes layer, because Kubernetes is completely unaware of storage, and you need to solve that at the stateful layer. And we are actually announcing today our partnership with Red Hat, where we are bringing stateful workload capabilities, both provisioning as well as the day two challenges, to customers who are using OpenShift today. And we are also very happy and glad to announce that we are being certified as a vendor which actually brings this to their operator framework, and we are also available on Operator Hub.
Right. And as we talked about the problems, every problem, every challenge leads to an opportunity also. Mm-hmm. So what opportunities Robin sees there in the space, and how do you plan to address them?
Yeah, so I think the first opportunity, and what customers are also demanding, is improve the manageability when it comes to onboarding these stateful applications that Partha just talked about, right? He touched upon the day two and beyond, right? So that's the first opportunity, to deliver on the promise to improve the manageability of these stateful applications, which we would argue are very business critical as well, right? So these applications are mission critical in many shapes and forms. The second opportunity is to help drive costs down, because by bringing a single unified way to manage stateful and stateless in a seamless manner, you're empowering the DevOps culture, or you're improving the velocity at which DevOps principles are applied and agility is brought to the environment itself, right? And at the same time, there is cost reduction and cost savings because of hardware footprint reduction, et cetera, right? So there's tremendous benefit in terms of cost savings. The third opportunity is to actually give the peace of mind value proposition to the customers, like, look, when you're making this choice of bringing in Robin storage to address stateful applications, you have the support of the broadest ecosystem, right? So that is at two levels. One is at the level of the platform provider, which is GKE, OpenShift, and soon PKS and other Kubernetes providers, but also the ISV solutions themselves, right? Be it MariaDB, MongoDB, et cetera. So our opportunity is to give that peace of mind value proposition, in addition to help customers realize the manageability and cost savings benefits. Partha, do you want to add anything more to it?
Yeah, I think you mentioned a few vendor ISVs. Clearly, I think they see a big benefit. Maybe just to kind of expand on what Radesh said. So if you look at stateful workloads, right, typically they're deployed as either Helm charts or more recently as operators themselves, right? Now, who are the users of these tools? They are usually developers or DevOps folks. They are hardly storage experts, right? And if you go and say that, okay, you got to go and manage your storage, you got to snapshot your storage, you got to clone it, back it up and all that, they're lost because they don't know what that really means, right? And these workloads are not just using one volume because they are distributed in nature. They would basically have a much bigger need than just one volume. So we are working with the vendor ISV community to expose these functionalities at an application layer. And what I mean by that is, let's say somebody were to go and deploy an application using a vendor's Helm chart, right, or an operator. Now that developer should also be able to go and say, I have this running instance of Helm, I'd like to back it up. And let somebody else, which is Robin in this case, figure out what that means. At the storage layer, at the application layer, at the configuration layer, at the metadata layer, all those layers, not just at the dumb storage beds, right? So in that regard, for example, we are also announcing today our partnership with Splunk, where Splunk, of course, is an enterprise-grade big data platform, if you will, petabytes of data being stored. So they are using Robin as a way to go and provide these data protection, data availability, and data collaboration for customers who are running Splunk on OpenShift.
Excellent. Now, when we look at the Kubernetes, space, it's a very crowded field. Mm-hmm. So, what sets you apart? What unique, proposition that you bring to the table, which, can you talk about that?
Yeah, to first level, the problem space that we are addressing within the overall Kubernetes, to the point that Partha is saying, stateful set of applications is our zip code, number one. Secondly, the way we are addressing, to some of the points that Partha mentioned, is unique and differentiated. We are bringing application awareness to customers who are comfortable with Kubernetes native tooling, right? So without having to learn new tricks, they're able to get amazing capabilities, right? So that's a game changer and a disruptive innovation in many ways. So, and I'm sure Partha can add more details from a technical perspective.
Yeah, so let me put it this way, right? There are, I think, 3 or 4 other vendors at the summit today who are in the same space, similar space. Now, why are we different, right? Attaching storage to Kubernetes pods is very simple. It's a solved problem. There are 30 vendors out there doing it. Any storage vendor who says otherwise is actually lying, right? They're just spreading FUD around. It is very simple to attach storage to containers and keep that available. The challenge is actually beyond that. The challenge is storage by itself is not that useful because stateful applications, as I said earlier, need 2 things. Number one, they need the ability to do data management, which is what typically is called as day 2 operational things. Number 2 is because they are complicated in nature, you need a level of simplicity that can only be achieved if you go up the storage stack and attach yourself into the application workflows, right? So what do I mean by that? Right? What I mean by that is, like earlier I said, right? The user model is users deploy Helm charts, do a Helm install, or they do through an operator they deploy something, right? And they should stick to that same model when they're doing day 2 operations, not go and create individual storage level volume snapshots and then figure out which snapshot belongs to which pod when you're trying to clone it and all that, right? That's one. The second thing is that you need to capture more than storage volumes when you're snapshotting, right? You have to capture the application metadata, its configuration, and obviously its data. And that is uniquely differentiated. Satya and Jim were on stage at the keynote yesterday, and they actually announced the OpenShift for Azure, right? And they did bring up one customer that they actually called out the name of a customer. That customer actually is a Robin customer. And interestingly enough, they're running Oracle RAC on Robin today, right? About 400 Oracle RAC instances. Now, this customer, obviously we know that they are interested in making this journey towards Azure as well. Some OpenShift footprint on-prem, some OpenShift footprint in the cloud. So it's fantastic because it actually is how the world is going to evolve. But how do these customers make this journey? They already have these clusters, RAC clusters running on premises, right? That's where Robin comes in. Because what we allow them to do is that with one call, one command line, say Robin, migrate this Oracle RAC instance to that OpenShift cluster in Azure. There's nobody else in the industry who can do that. Because architecturally, we are very different from the rest.
So once again, thanks Partha and Radhesh for talking to me today. And as usual, we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.